When a young man attacked members of an Albuquerque church with a knife last week, he showed classic signs of being out of touch with reality. And he is the latest in a long line of young men charged with violent crimes that some experts believe could be avoided. If so, why do they keep happening? Dean Staley's on special assignment.
24-year-old Lawrence Kapner is accused of stabbing choir director Adam Alvarez repeatedly inside the St. Jude Thaddeus Church in Albuquerque. At that moment, police say, Kapner believed that Alvarez was part of a secret society involved in a widespread conspiracy. Kapner is a Cibola High School grad who lived with his mom, an active member of their church. He had never been in trouble with the law before. But 3 weeks ago, he was fired from his job at the Dollar Tree on Coors for threatening to poke out his boss's eyes.
We see it every day.
For the head of the state's largest mental health advocacy group, the story was all too familiar.
My first thought was that could have been prevented. And I wondered how many times that individual's family tried to get help for that individual.
For Patsy Romero, the attack was not that different from the Aurora, Colorado shooting last summer that left 12 dead and dozens wounded. Or the Tucson attack the year before that killed 6 and left U.S. Representative Gabrielle Giffords gravely wounded. Both of those attacks were by seemingly normal young men who started to show signs of cracking before erupting in violence. By all accounts, Lawrence Kapner fits the description.
It's so out of character for the kid that I've seen for years through around the neighborhood.
Of course, mental illness doesn't just happen. It is often months or years in the making. And despite the high-profile violent attacks that capture a lot of media attention, the mentally ill are far more likely to be the victims of violence because they're living on the streets, they're in jail, or they're just acting strangely.
People with mental health conditions are really at very low risk of committing violent acts. And in fact, people with mental health conditions are much more likely to be victims of violence.
Stephen Adelsheim is the director of UNM's Center for Behavioral Health.
Colors look different to them, or they might start recognizing sounds in a different way, or might sort of wonder if they're hearing whispering or if their brain is playing tricks on them.
He says on average, people suffer those kinds of symptoms for 1.5 years to 2 years before they get help.
They may be confused, they may be scared, they may be ashamed, they may not want to tell their parents.
And it often starts early. Half of all mental illnesses start by age 14. By age 24, 75% of mental illnesses have presented. So getting to kids early is crucial.
We need to have effective models of screening and early intervention so when people are developing serious mental health conditions, we can link them to services early.
But for now, widespread screening programs are rare in the U.S.
These are our neighbors. They're our families. They're our friends. They're your cousins. They're everybody.
People can recover. People can live very productive and successful lives with serious mental illness. Treatment works.
On special assignment, Dean Staley, KRQE News 13.
We did try to find out if Kapner's family ever sought treatment for him, but they are not at this point talking. Now, this year, the legislature passed a bill to establish intervention teams to reach out to the mentally ill who show signs of trouble. But the governor vetoed that bill, saying the program should have been put under the Human Services Department, not the Department of Health, as the bill called for.